Hello and welcome to Tech of the Day. Today we are going to talk about Azure Batch jobs. This is an important topic in AZ-203 or also in AZ-204. You might have around 2 to 3 questions in your exam. So in this one we will talk about implementing Azure batch jobs using CLI, Portal, and .NET. So let's get started. As I already told you, we will do Azure Batch. What is Azure Batch? Run a batch job by using Azure CLI and Azure Portal. Running batch jobs by using code. Manage batch jobs by using Batch Service API. So Azure Batch is high performance computing which describes the aggregation of complex processes across many different machines, thereby maximizing the computing power of all machines. There are two types of workloads. There need to be a very large quantity of independent nodes processing simultaneously tightly coupled. Multiple nodes need to talk often and very fast. Services that manage VMs for large-scale parallel and HPC applications, auto-scaling functionality, job tracking, scheduling, management functionality. So you use Azure Batch to run large-scale parallel and high-performance computing batch jobs efficiently in Azure. Azure Batch creates and manages a pool of compute nodes, which also called virtual machines, installs the applications you want to run, and schedules jobs to run on that node. There is no cluster or job scheduler software to install, manage, or scale. Instead, you use Batch API and tools, command line scripts, or Azure portal to configure, manage, and monitor your jobs. Developers can use Batch or as a platform as a service to build SaaS applications. Simply parallel workloads are those where the applications can run independently and each instance completes part of the work. When the applications are executing, they might access some common data, but they do not communicate with other instances of the application. Some examples of instinctively parallel workloads you can bring to batch: financial risk modeling using Monte Carlo simulations, VFX, image analysis, media transcoding, genetic sequence analysis, optical character recognition, many more. So I hope it's clear how it works. So you have your application or service, you upload input files and apps, then you create a pool, job, or task. So it is kind of a task you create here, and which is divided into multiple tasks. So you create a job which is divided into multiple tasks, and then you download the input files and apps, you monitor task, you upload the task to output, and then you download the output files. The first step: upload input files and the applications to process these files to your Azure storage account. The input files can be any data that your application processes, such as financial modeling data, video files to be transcoded. The application files can include scripts or applications that process the data. Second task, which is to create a batch pool of compute nodes in your batch account, a job to run the workload on the pool and task in the job. So pool nodes are virtual machines that execute your tasks. Speci- specify properties such as the number and size of the node, Windows or Linux, VM image, and an application to install when the nodes join the pool. Manage the cost and size of the pool by using low priority virtual machines or automatically scaling. Third is download input files and the applications to the batch. Before each task executes, it can download the output data that it is to process to the assigned compute nodes. If the application isn't already installed on the pool nodes, it can be downloaded here instead. When the download from Azure storage completes, the task executes on the assigned node. Then the fourth step is to monitor this as task execution as the task run. Query batch to monitor the progress of the job and its task. Your client application or service communicate with the batch service over the HTTPS because you may be monitoring thousands of tasks running on thousands of compute nodes. Then fifth job is upload task output. As the task completes, they can upload their result data to Azure storage. You can also retrieve files directly from the file system on the compute node. And then sixth task is when it's done is download the output files. So this is what we already talked about. Breakdown. Here is an example how a batch works. So it's an application admin upload input files, upload application and dependencies. You specify resources and you do this to storage, and here you specify it's the second step. You specify the storage, you create virtual machines nodes, and then you queue the tasks, which is a job divided in multiple tasks, and then you get the output files and download them. So this might be a simple Azure Batch example where you have a pool which contains many virtual machines. Pool contains many nodes. Nodes are kind of virtual machines. So Azure Batch Service Resources, you have account, a uniquely identified entity with the batch service. Azure Storage account stores Azure files and eventually output files. Compute node, which is a virtual machine dedicated to processing your application's workload, and a pool, collection of compute nodes that runs the entire application. So you have some quotas and limits. Batch account per region per subscription 1 to 3. Default limit maximum 50. Dedicated cores per batch account 10 to 100. Maximum limit not available. Low priority cores per batch account 10 to 100. Active jobs and job schedules per batch account 100 to 300. Pools per batch account 20 to 100. Run a batch job by using Azure CLI and Azure portal. So let's go to the portal. I'm signed in to my portal. I hope you are signed in because yeah, now it's better. I hope you can see it better. Okay, so let's go create a resource. Then we go to compute. Then we search for the batch service. Here we go. So it is asking me for Azure sponsorship, which is free sponsorship I have. and then I need a resource group for that. So I would say AZ-203 and batch service. Okay, and then I need an account name, and you see, it should be unique because in this region, East US, it should be unique. Let's say if we have it, it will search for it. It's available, but I want to add my name as well. And location East US, it's okay for me. Okay, next, um, first I need to select the storage account as well. Otherwise, it will give you default, and I would create a new one. Um, Azure 203 Nitesh storage. Okay, and I would go with this one, standard, not premium, LRS. Okay, I'm okay with it. So now we have storage kind. Now next, advanced batch service. So if you specify whether provision compute nodes pools in a subscription managed batch service or in the subscription in which you are creating the new batch account. So it's just I'm going with batch service. Let's go to the tags. I don't want any tags for this one. Now I want to review and let's create. Just reviewing my request. Might take some time. I guess review is validation is passed. Now I can create it. So now I have created a batch service. After this, I need compute nodes. So it's in process. Till then, let me just continue with my thing. What I
So our batch account is done. Now what we need to do pool. So we need to create pool. What we have already done, we have created a batch account. We have created also a storage account. Now we need a pool. So let's go to the resources. Let's see what it has. Of course, it has nothing because we haven't added anything. So now what we need to create a pool. So we are in the batch account
already,
already,
and
and
now
now
we
we
need
need
to
to
find
find
pool.
pool.
Where
Where
can
can
we
we
add
add
pools?
pools?
Okay.
Okay.
In
In
the
the
pools,
pools,
we
we
add
add
a
a
pool.
pool.
So
So
we
we
need
need
a
a
pool
pool
ID,
ID,
and
and
we
we
need
need
a
a
display
display
name.
name.
So
So
it
it
can
can
be
be
anything,
anything,
but
but
we
we
need
need
something
something
which
which
uniquely
uniquely
identify
identify
this
this
pool.
pool.
So
So
let's
let's
say
say
I'm
I'm
just
just
going
going
to
to
make
make
pool
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 zero
zero
one.
one.
Let's
Let's
say
say
just
just
an
an
instance.
instance.
And
Azure
AZ-203
203
pool.
pool.
Now
Now
image
image
type.
type.
Um, what
What
you
you
can
can
have
have
as
as
images,
images,
you
you
can
can
have
have
from
from
marketplace,
marketplace.
you
You
can
can
have
have
cloud
cloud
services,
services,
Windows
Windows
only,
only.
you
You
can
can
have
have
cloud
cloud
image
image which is shared image gallery, uh, and you can also have graphics and rendering. So depending on your requirements, I'll go with the marketplace, and then I need to give it a publisher. So I'm just going to have Microsoft Azure Batch, and let's say Ubuntu container, service container, and it is giving me 1604 LTS, and batch node agent SQ is batch node Ubuntu. If I change publisher to Windows, Microsoft Windows Server, then I have offer, which is Windows Server, and then I can select SQ, whichever I want. So let's say at 2012 or 16 data center. Um, I will go with simple 2016 data center, and then batch node. It gives me automatically default ID. Uh, Now, ask me about VM size, standard A1, mode fixed. It it has many things, right, to ask, but it gives you uh, default configuration. But you need to pay attention to all this. Even you should not go generally with default configuration, but here we can go because these are the normal things it needs. Okay, so we don't have a Windows Server license, so I will say no. Okay, I have created a pool now. I have a pool now. Um, in this pool, if we go there, we said pool VM size standard A1, and nodes. So nodes, there is no node yet. So while I'm creating a pool, you say here I selected 2019 data center instead of 2016, and here for the mode scaling, it is asking if it's a fixed or auto scale. If I say auto scale, it's just asking me auto scale evaluation interval, which is specify time interval at which automatically adjust the pool size according to the auto scale formula. The default value is 15, and then you will need a formula to auto scale, or you can make it fixed. So you can then say target dedicated nodes. That means you will always have that much nodes available for you. Target low priority nodes, 2, I said 3 and 2. Start task disabled. So it specifies a task to run on each compute node as it joins the pool. The task runs when the node is added to the pool or when the node is restarted. So it's disabled. That's all. Now you can add also certificates and application packages. We will see that later on. I don't have a Windows license, so I say okay. Just created a pool 01 now, and so Now if we go to pool, we have no notes because we haven't added anything, no certificates, no task, no task, and so on. So it's a simple pool now. What we need now, we need to add nodes to it, and we need to create a job. So let's go back to account overview, and this is our pool, this is our account, and let's go back to jobs. There is no job, so let's add a job ID, and job 01. Now I need to select the pool, which pool I want to use, and I have only one, so I will say okay, this one. And it is already saying it has reached low priority core quota limit because I set a low priority core quota to 2. So if I go there, account low priority core quota reached, this will reached. And by default Azure Batch applied default limitations, quota limitations with respect to subscription and account level, and my subscription is Azure Pass. So I really have limitations like this. Low priority vCPUs are 0, and if we go here, a default limit is 1 to 3 per subscription for Azure Batch account. Dedicated core per batch account 90 to 900. Low priority core per batch account 10 to 100, and this is where I fail. It says a core quota limit reached. And let's try to create another pool. So but before that, let me first check if my previous pool is still there. Okay, this is still there, and let me because I just changed it and it's resizing, I need to delete it. It's interesting to know actually, because you always go with the default configuration thing. Sometimes if you change, you should know what you're changing or what you are going to have, because here you have default limits, and it might be interesting also to see what you can do and what you cannot do, which you don't see in theory actually. So it's deleting, still deleting. Let's go back to our codes. So now what I needed to do is I needed to create a job for this. I'm not going to do it now anyway, because this will not work according to my subscription. I don't have that thing. So what I need now, I need to create a job, and then I need to create a task in that job. So if I say job, create job, and then add a job here, job 01, This is being deleted, so I cannot. Can say add a pool. Let's see if it works. Pool 02 AZ-203 pool 02, and image type is from marketplace, publisher Windows Server, SKU let's say 2019, which is latest, disk, read and write cache, disk stand, logical unit, let's say 5, storage standard LRS select, and target and dedicated 0. I go with the default now. Let's see if it works, because I'm not really sure with my subscription how it will go. So yeah, let's see. I select this pool, and now let's go. Okay. So the value provided for one of the properties is invalid, pool info, and okay, I still have that problem. If I try to do it again, let's see. Job 01. The problem is with the pool. I select this pool. Job manager preparation and release tasks default and none. I say okay, job created now. So I have the job now, finally, and now I need to create a task. So because job has multiple tasks, so then you need to add tasks to this. So now you go to job, because a job can contain multiple tasks. So you go to tasks, and then you add tasks. You give a task ID, task, just name 01. You can have a really good one. Yes, this is interesting now, because now you need to set a command line what this job needs to do. So here what I'm going to write is cmd slash c set az batch and timeout timeout slash t90. I'll explain you what is this. Is greater than null. Okay, we keep the default settings here for the moment, and I guess that's it. We say submit. Task added successfully now. So if I go to this task, what it is in the state of active now. It is saying this is it's not started yet. It will take some time, so then we can continue, and the remaining tasks are now to see the output of this task and get downloaded. So let's see if there is any log. No, no output files. Yes, because it's still running. Okay, that's all using the command CLI. It's still deleting the old pool. My network might be slower. So that's all for the task. I hope it's clear. If it's not, then we are also going to do it with the CLI, and it will be more clearer than this one. Let's go with the CLI. But before we go further, I need to delete the resources. So I just delete this resource group. Why? Because I don't want to keep paying for this. Okay, let's do it with the Azure CLI. I clicked here on the Cloud CLI icon, and now I'm in a Cloud Cell Azure CLI. I'm using Azure CLI here, and let's do it how we can do with the Azure CLI to make it more visible. Let me do like this, and let's make it large so that you can see it. I hope you can see it better now. Fonts, no monospace, it's okay. Okay, so as you know, what we need first for the Azure Batch, we first need a storage account, but before that we need a resource group. So let's just create a AZ group, create, name, usually with the PowerShell, so I put only one dash here, two dash, and I would say name of the resource group AZ-203 batch service. Okay, and I need to precise the location. I say East US 2. That should create a resource group. Okay, because this group is still having problems. Okay, so I created a resource group, which is this one. I need to keep it always with me. And so now what I need a storage account. After, because as you know already, you need storage account, you need batch account, then you need a pool, then you need a job, and then you need to create a task. That's all for Azure Batch. So now I need to create a storage account. AZ storage account create. Let me open it. Bigger one. Storage account create. And what do I need? I need to say resource group. Resource group is this one, and then name of my account. I always, okay, name, let's say AZ-203 storage service, and then I say location East US2, East US2, and I need to say SKU for this storage account. I'll say standard LRS. Okay, that's all. It's create a storage account now, and then I need to create a batch account. Once it's done, just taking some time. Let's wait. Okay, so my storage account is done. It has all this default blob storage, TFS, file storage, queue, table, web. So you have all this information here you need, but we will see that later on. Now I need to create a batch account. So AZ batch account create, and name of my batch account. What is my batch account? 03, and then resource group. What is my resource group? I copied it already, so paste it. And now I need to say storage account. What is my storage account? Storage account. What was the name of my storage account? Paste. Okay, storage account. Then I need to say location. Same East US2. That's all. And let's say, okay, AZ batch account create error. The following arguments are required. Typos. So I need to. I said resource group, and it's only resource group. Sorry. And it should create the resource. Sorry, the Azure batch account now. So once it creates the Azure Batch account, to create and manage compute pools and jobs, you need to authenticate with Batch. log into the account with AZ batch account login command. After you log in, your AZ batch commands use this account context. So now you need to log in.
So
So
I
I
say
say
AZ
AZ
batch
batch
account
account
login.
login.
What's
What's
the
the
name
name
of
of
the
the
batch
batch
account?
account?
It's
It's
this
this
one.
one.
My
My
batch
batch
account
account
zero
zero
three.
three,
And
and
now
now
I
I
need
need
to
to
say
say
resource
resource
group.
group.
Resource
Resource
group.
group,
And
and
the
the
resource
resource
group
group
is
is
this
this
one.
one.
And
And
this
this
is
is
the
the
resource
resource
group.
group.
And
And
what
what
is
is
authentication?
authentication?
Shared
Shared
key
key
auth.
auth.
So
So
that
that
is
is
authentication,
authentication,
shared
shared
key
key
auth.
auth.
So
So
now
now
I'm
I'm
logged
logged
in.
in.
Now
Now
I
I
need
need
to
to
create
create
a
a
pool
pool
of
of
compute
compute
nodes.
nodes.
So
So
I
I
need
need
to
to
create
create
a
a
pool
pool
of
of
compute
compute
nodes.
nodes.
So
So
AZ
AZ
batch
batch
pool.
pool.
So
So
you
you
see
see
the
the
command
command
AZ
AZ
Azure
Azure
batch.
batch,
And
and
then
then
first
first
I
I
said
said
account,
account,
but
but
now
now
I
I
say
say
pool,
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 create.
create,
And
and
now
now
I
I
need
need
to
to
say
say
the
the
ID
ID
as
as
we
we
did
did
in
in
the
the
previous
previous
one.
one.
Um,
Um,
pool
pool
04,
04,
let's
let's
say.
say,
And
and
VM
VM
size,
size,
VM,
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 VM
VM
size,
size,
standard,
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 A1,
A1,
let's
let's
say
say
A1,
A1.
you
You
need
need
to
to
remember
remember
these
these
names,
names.
A1
A1
V2.
V2.
So
So
A1
A1
V2,
V2.
then
Then
target
target
dedicated
dedicated
nodes.
nodes.
If
If
you
you
remember
remember
well,
well,
we
we
had
had
problem
problem
with
with
this.
this.
So
So
I'm
I'm
just
just
going
going
to
to
say
say
2.
two.
Let's
Let's
see
see
if
if
it
it
works
works
or
or
not.
not.
Image,
Image.
then
Then
we
we
need
need
to
to
get
get
the
the
exact
exact
image
image
name.
names.
So
So
I am
I'm
saying
saying
this
this
time
time
I'm
I'm
taking
taking
Ubuntu
Ubuntu
image,
image
because
because
last
last
time
time
I
I
took
took
Windows
Windows
Server.
Server.
So
So
canonical,
canonical,
and
and
then
then
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu
Ubuntu
server.
server,
And
and
then
then
what
what
is
is
the
the
version?
version?
16
16
dot
dot
zero
zero
four
four
dot
dot
no
no
dot
dot
slash
slash
LTS.
LTS.
So
So
this
this
is
is
a
a
bit
bit
complicated
complicated
name.
name.
You
You
see
see
image
image
canonical
canonical
Ubuntu
Ubuntu
server.
server.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
Up. I
I
forgot
forgot
one
one
more
more
thing.
thing. We
We need
need
a
a
node
node
agent
agent
SQ
SQ
ID.
ID.
Mm,
So
so node
node
agent
agent
SQ
SQ
ID.
ID.
Let's
Let's
say
say
batch
batch
dot
dot
node.
node.
These
These
names
names
are
are
difficult
difficult
to
to
remember.
remember.
So
So
you
you
need
need
to
to
check
check
them
them
online
online
and
and
different
different
versions
versions
available.
available.
Now
Now
my
my
pool
pool
is
is
created,
created,
and
and
now
now
I
I
need
need
to
to
see
see
if
if
my
my
pool
pool
is
is
there
there
or
or
not.
not.
So
So
AZ
AZ
batch
batch
pool
pool
show
show
pool
pool
ID.
ID.
What
What
was
was
the
the
name?
name?
Pool
Pool
zero
zero
four.
four.
If
If
it
it
exists
exists
or
or
not?
not?
Yes,
Yes,
it
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 does.
does.
So
So
now
now
I
I
need
need
to
to
create
create
a
a job. So AZ batch job create. You notice the commands here, everything starts with AZ and then batch and then something, pool, job, account, whatever, but it is AZ batch. And then ID, let's say my job 03, and I need to prescribe the pool ID, which pool I want to use. So pool ID is let's see here. What was the pool ID here? Do you see a pool ID pool 04 04 up? So it created my task, sorry, job, and now I need to create a task. So what is a task? Task is simple doing something. So what I will do, I will loop through I in 1 to 4. And what is my task? Ah, do. And then what you need, AZ batch task create. What is task ID? Task ID, let's say my task. And then because we are in a loop here, so let's say I, my task I. I should add some to make it a bit specific, because I did not have I had this task ID before, so just to be separate, job ID, what is my job? I just created this, my job 03, my job 03, and then my command line, which is a simple command which says what to do with this task. So in this one I'm just saying bin. I'll explain you what it is, what it means later on. C, and then print env environment grep az batch sleep 90s, and then I say done. Okay. The command line shows settings for each of the task. Batch distributes the task to compute nodes. To view the task status, what we need to do, we need to see AZ batch task. So what? For what? And job ID. Job ID. What was my job ID? My job 03, and my task ID. Task ID. What was my task ID? My task was my task Nitesh, let's say 1. So it says batch syntax near unexpected token is add. Mm, So I have created four parallel tasks. Now I can, if I want to see my tasks, I just need to say AZ batch tasks. So job with job ID and task ID up, and it should show me the status of the task. And this is the status, all the information, and the status about it. And now if I want to see the AZ batch task file list, all the output file list, then I can see all the AZ batch task file list, then with the job ID and task ID, and same way I can download the files. And I just need to say the file path, which is the name of the file in the previous show list. So that's how I can create tasks, and I need to delete them. So I hope it was clear for you all how to create Azure Batch tasks. Uh, I created this one. In this resource group, I created a batch account, and this was storage account. If we go to storage account, we have it will have simply the files we do from the Azure batch, or we drop. So this is generally used for that purpose. And if we go to resource groups, and if we see the account which contains pool, a pool which is with this thing and has some errors because of my subscription. And then we go to job. My job is containing some tasks in it. So if you if I hope that's clear for you, how to create a run a batch job using Azure CLI and Azure portal. We have already been through this, creating Azure account and login, batch account and login, and then creating pool and show pool, and then create a job and running the job. So we did all this, and this is how we did the output. We output the Azure CLI output. We did already this, and so now we need to do it using .NET. .NET library used to automate batch account creation, deletion, key management, and quota discovery. You have it. Uh, Batch job from C Sharp built on Azure Batch.NET API. The app uploads several input data files to Azure storage and then creates a pool of batch compute nodes, which is generally virtual machines. Then it creates a sample job that run tasks to process each input file on the pool using a basic command. After completing that, and then you can simply do the job, get the output, sorry. So online you'll find many examples for this. You have on GitHub you have Azure samples where you contain where you have all the samples. I'm not going through those samples because those samples are not done by me. But if you want, you can go there and you can look. I'll put the link in the description below, where you can see how to clone the Git repository, and you have some examples for Batch.NET Quick Start. Simple, where you just need to change the batch account number, account key, account name, account key, account URL, and storage name, storage account key. That's all. Here, create and delete batch accounts. If you see here, I can create a new batch account simply with my batch management client, which I need to create, and then account.create async my resource group and my new account, name of my batch account, and with the location West US. Here you can see this variable, this batch management client. I need to create this client to get access to my accounts. So this is done using .NET library for Azure, and then get new account from batch service. I simply have account resource, and using this account I can get my resource group, my new account. So I can just get this account what I just created. I can just simply delete it. So it's very simple, very straightforward. It's just you need to use it, and then you can simply do all the operations. If you want to just do list all the keys, you can do all the operations actually what we just did with the Azure portal. You can check the quotas using accounts resource, and then in the account you can write credential and account counts. Checking Azure and batch account quotas for regions. You can check simply with get subscription quota async with that region, and same way you can quote response this thing. Checking Azure and batch account resource quotas. You can do many things. Now the lesson 4, which is manage batch jobs by using batch service API. So first of all, for that you need to authenticate using Azure Active Directory. Every request made against the batch service must be authenticated. The batch service supports authentication via either shared key or Azure Active Directory. And you all know how to create a shared key. If not, I will show you in my next video. And same way how to connect with Azure Active Directory. These are the topics for another videos because it will take some time. But you need to have this in order to achieve in order to use this with your .NET library. You can have some error codes. What you can have, you have some predefined a user error and server error. If batch service encounters an error, the task is marked as complete and an error message is stored in the output of the task. So once you created many parallel tasks, so if any of the task throws any error, it just mark it as completed and error message is stored in the output of the task. There are two categories of the errors. One is user error, another one is server error. Errors in the task specification provided by the user, errors encountered by the batch service that prevent it from scheduling the task. So you can simply view these errors in JSON format like this. Category user error, blob not found. Let's say you might have any problem actually with the resources you are using to execute your tasks in your job. So, and then you have common parameters and headers which are with some limitations which you need to know, and what type of certificates you have, pools, nodes, job schedule, job and tasks. So you really need to know these things, and this can change as well with the newer versions. So if you want to know them, you need to be updated. Batch service follows HTTP 1.1 protocol, which is since 2015, I guess. And so you can add conditional headers for that. and these are the headers. You can use if match, if non-match, if modified since, if unmodified since. Simple. And you can have versioning of your REST API. Batch service is constantly evolving, so you can use which version you want to use, and you can specify which version of API you want to use. So in this video we created Azure Batch account. We ran Azure Batch jobs by using Azure CLI and Azure portal. We running jobs using code. I did not do this part a lot. You can do it. Actually, I will put the link in the in my description below. It's open source code from on GitHub. People just put their examples, and it's really easy to follow those examples from there on. Manage jobs by using batch service API. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. I hope you liked it. There are new videos coming up, and stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.